What's the true cost to live here in the Villages, Florida? Well, you're in luck. I just put together a 5-part series called the Money Map, and it is going to lay out everything that you need to know as a homeowner, what it's going to cost you up front and over time when you become a resident. So in the 5 parts, we're going to go over the bond, the CDD, the amenity fee, taxes, property taxes, actual expenses that it costs to live here, like electric and food and that kind of stuff. And also I put together a 6th bonus episode all about ARC. So you know where to find it and how that affects you. If you're new to this channel, my name's Robyn Cavallaro. I'm a realtor here in Florida. I've helped hundreds of buyers and sellers get into this community and move on to their next journey. I'm approaching $100 million in sales. So if you're looking for an expert to help you buy or sell your home, someone that truly has a pulse on the community, expenses, and what's going on, yep, I'm your girl. And before we get started, I do have a book if you're looking to buy here. This is an invaluable resource guide. It's 236 pages of helpful information that you need about this community if you're thinking about buying here. I have lists of the CDD districts and each village that's in that district. I also have lists of hospitals and urgent care facilities, restaurants, hospitals. I talk about the town squares, how to buy smart, insider information, the buying process demystified. And this all can be yours. It's on Amazon in print or for your Kindle device. So pick that up for you and a friend today. And also, if you're looking to buy a home, you want to get onto my website, robyncavallaro.com, to begin your search. And you can set your parameters by area, by price, so you can find the dream home that you're looking for. And when you're ready to come down and go on a home shopping trip, you got to give me a call. All right, so I do have some new toys here, one of which is a teleprompter that is probably going to drive me crazy. In this Money Map series, and especially in this video, I'm going to reveal to you what the bond is for, how you pay it back, what that means to your wallet, how it'll affect your life. I'm also going to show you tax bills, and I'm going to show you where to find those so you can see what the bond and the CDD actually is for specific property. It is public information. And also, I am going to demonstrate how to find the bond balance on an amortization schedule on districtgov.org. But don't fret. I have a freebie down below. There's a cheat sheet with all the links that you need to find all this information, plus a link to my website, because I do have a tax calculator that I put on my website so you can figure out what your property taxes will be when you go to make a new purchase. If this information is helpful to you, I'm going to ask if you wouldn't mind subscribing and like the video, because I want you to make sure that you get a notification when the next video comes out. And also, if you have questions about the bond, the CDD, put them in the comments below. I answer all of the questions, as long as they're related to the real estate, please. Because I get some wacky questions I have to delete. But anyway, so the bond. Well, the bond freaks people out. Everybody starts out when they come down here, they don't want a bond, but it's full of trade-offs. So keep your options open. As we go through the material, you kind of understand the bond, and it might not be so inundating to you, and you can make a good buying decision. And I have to get the light up on my computer so I have more light. Okay, so why does the bond even exist? Well, this is a huge community, and we have a lot of bonuses here, fun stuff for you to use when you live here. But to turn it from a cow pasture like it was until paradise, it doesn't come for free. And let me tell you something. Where Eastport was, I moved here 6 years ago. That was 2 lanes with cows on either side. And I knew where to turn on Marsh Bend Trail, like where that the fire department is right now. There was a stagecoach there. That's how I knew where to turn. If I went too far, I hit the prison and I had to turn around. But anyway, the developer could have gone into their pockets for millions and billions of dollars to develop not just the land that they're going to put the home on, but remember, we do have all kinds of other stuff here that's at your fingertips to use. They could have put that money into the price of the home. So instead of maybe paying 300, you paid 350, 375, 400,000. But instead they use something that Florida law allows them to do. It's called Chapter 190. And in simplified terms, that law allows the developer to borrow money to build stuff. It's the simplest terms. It's basically a construction loan on the dirt. But the loan is restrictive. It's a municipal bond is issued and it's paid back over time. And it's paid back with interest, and there's an admin fee, and we'll show you that later. It's a non-ad valorem assessment in your tax bill. Again, it's a construction loan, but it's a construction loan on construction and the dirt your home is on. I used to say it's everything that happened to the land before they plunked your house on top of it. And, some people get messed up because they feel like it's a loan, and it kind of is, but it's a loan, again, on the ground. It doesn't, I want to make sure you know that legally, the bond money has to be paid for infrastructure, they can't, it's not for the championship courses or the shopping centers or the town squares. This is truly for things we own, like as a community that we owned. We own the executive golf courses. We own the pools. We own the mail stations. We own the rec centers. So that's what the bond is paying for. And you are paying that back over time. Because let's face it, that's a lot of money. And there's a lot of things for us to do here. That's what makes this community so attractive. So the bond pays for those things so you eventually can go have fun. But why didn't they put it in the price of the home? And just be done with it? Well, I used to think that too. I just think, why don't they're being real cute, they're putting a bond so it makes it sound like the price of the home is cheaper, but it's really not. But the thing is, when you sell your home, the bond stays with the house and you're free to go. It transfers to the new owner and you don't have to pay it off. And let's face it, people buy 2 and 3 homes here, and maybe not owning them all at once, but they buy one and sell it. They buy one and sell it. And, paying off that bond, you're not going to get more money for your house. I'm telling you right now, you will not get more money for your home because you paid the bond off. You may sell it faster, but you won't get the bond money back. And I'm also, I'll talk to you in a minute because we're going to go to the internet where I show you the tax bills. I'm going to show you areas where there are low bonds, no bonds, and high bonds. So that'll come up towards the end. You think being on the internet here, as YouTubers, all glamorous hair and makeup, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of research. But anyway, so the bond we talked about, pays for the roads, the sewer lines, all of the good stuff that goes on here. So the bill, how do you pay that bond? Well, every year in September, we get a trim notice. I say that's the appetizer. That tells you the bill's coming, but it gives you an idea of what your proposed taxes will be. And in November, you get the love letter from the tax collector that says, hey, guess what? You owe me this money. Until maybe Ron DeSantis gets rid of property taxes. But you got to check out the video I did on property tax. You'll find that interesting. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you to the computer and I'm going to show you sample tax bills from all the 3 counties so you can see what they look like. Because there's one thing that's very important you need to know if the next segment, when you want to look up the amortization schedule, is how to find that for your home. We're going to want to look for a lot and a unit number. Okay, so day 2 of filming. I've changed. Background has changed. I got my book there. Anyway, I am on Sumter County's website, and this is my rental property, the property card. basically. All the information about the home. And this is something that I mentioned is the trim notice. So this is something that we get before the tax bill comes out. It's issued, I don't know, we get it like in September. So you can see where we have last year's, this year's, what our expected taxes will be, but this is something and I just want you to see, so if you're an owner here, you know this is going to come out first. Then we actually get the tax bill, but that doesn't come until November. So here is a copy of this year's tax bill. So again, I've showed this before, but this is the tax bill, and we're going to get into more detail about it in the tax video. I don't want to discuss anything up here on the top. We just want to look down here at the bottom. So you'll see we have the village fire district charge. That's $320.71. That never goes away. Probably will increase. It used to be $125. And that's for every property in Sumter County and Sumter Wildwood, because I am Sumter Wildwood. And again, a little bit further along, I am going to show you the different areas where you're going to find no bond, low bond, high bond. Okay. But here where it says Haven Maintenance. So if you were going to look it up, you would want, this is a patio villa. You need to know that it's Haven Villas to find this tax bill, because they're patio villas. They don't go, well, it's unit number 720. You could try to find it that way as well. And I'll show you that on the amortization schedule when you're looking it up, how to find that. Maintenance means CDD. I'm not going to get into discussion about the CDD because I have a whole video devoted to that as well. But that's the CDD charge, and you can see for that unit, it's $417.59. Now, you know what? I'm just going to look real quick. This, nope, not my personal tax bill. And my primary residence, our CDD is $411, and my rental property, which is a quarter of a mile from my home, is $417. So went up a couple bucks. But then you'll see bond. So my bond, this is my annual payment for my bond, which is $1,000, $1,491. That's what I pay annually. These are what they call non-ad valorem assessments, because they're not based on the property value of my home. Again, we're not going to go into property taxes. I have a whole other video devoted to that. Next, where are we here? All right, Marion County. So Marion County has a lot of little charges that you have to pay, but really what we're looking for here is just the bond, the CDD, and the amenity fee, which is going to be down here, because you see these are non-ad valorem assessments. And this was my listing. This sold a couple of months ago. And it's in the Marion County section. You'll see countywide waste, and I'm going to highlight these, $215. They have countywide stormwater, and these are Marion County charges, $15. This one says villages community development, and it says maintenance. So Marion County goes a little bit further to describe it for you, but that is $882. Again, we're going to talk about that later. And they do have a fire assessment. But what you don't see here is a bond, because this home, the bond had been paid off. And that's how you can tell when you look at the tax bill, if you don't see a bond fee. Again, if you have any questions, please call me. All right, next, we're going to look at Lake County. All right, here we go. This is Lake County. This is another one of my listings. Now I've covered up their name. But you can see here in the non-ad valorem assessments, Leesburg Fire is $170. The debt, so this one says VCDD 14, which that one's District 14. The debt is the bond in Lake County. That payback is $32.59 and 38 cents. And the CDD, which is listed here as maintenance, is $765. Now, when you want to, remember we were talking about, and this is consistent with everyone, I don't have to go back and show you, but if you can see here, this is a legal description of the property. And what we want to see is the unit number, which is 51, and the lot number, which is 94. That's what you need to go to districtgov.org to find the appropriate bond or amortization schedule for this individual home. Now, this home happens to be a designer home. Again, when I showed you my rental property, that one was Haven Villas or unit lot, what is it, 72, I think it's, I don't remember. Okay, so in here, Marion County, I'm going to make this bigger. You can see down here, highlight this where it says unit 64, lot 94. That's how you would go to look up for this particular property what the amortization schedule is. But we already know, because we don't see where it says bond, that this bond has been paid off. And if you ever have a question, you can call the district office and ask if there is a bond balance, and you also can ask what the bond payoff would be. All right, let's get back to the video. All right, so we're not going to get too in depth on taxes because, again, I have a whole other video, but I wanted to show you basically where the bond is and the lot and unit number, so you know when you go to get the amortization schedule. So you want to know how much is that bond payoff, because sometimes you don't know. It might not be in the real estate listing. And I've had buyers tell me they did not know there was a bond. I'm just saying, you know, make sure you ask your realtor. I always tell my people I figure out their taxes, and I let them know what the new taxes will be when they're going to buy a house, because it's based on value and the bond and the CDD, so you know exactly what you're getting into. But again, the freebie below, you can click the link and you'll be able to get that, the links to take you right to those websites. So, all right, so we looked at that tax bill, but you also can find the lot and unit number on an MLS listing. All right, here, as I was editing, I decided to come back to a listing to show you exactly where you can find the lot number. And now you have to be looking at the actual MLS listing. I just checked documents on Zillow and I could not find the legal description on a Zillow listing, but you can see it right here where it says legal description. It has lot 94. They all say the Villages of Southern Oaks or the Villages of Sumter. Just ignore that. You want lot 94 and unit 98, and then you will be able to find the bond amortization schedule for this individual property. This is a listing of mine if you happen to be looking. 2002 Landrea Loop. It is a veranda home in St. John, and they've done some nice things to it. So if you want to check that home out, call me. I'll give you a tour, or you can check it out on my YouTube channel. All right, so I'm just going to pick this home here, and you see here where it says flyer. If you click the flyer for it, and I'm not advertising the home, just so you know, I am just going to show you as a courtesy where you would find the lot number here. It says legal description. So if you needed to find the bond amortization schedule for this property, you would find it here, lot 101, unit 130. And you would go to that site, and I will show you in a minute when we go to districtgov.org how to get all that information in there. Or you can call me. I'm always a phone call away. I want to be a resource because, you know, buying process here is a process, and you need somebody that's in your corner throughout the process. And also because if we're in a house and it's a dump, I'm going to tell you it's a dump. Okay. I don't know if everybody does. I do. So call me. Another advertisement for me. Okay. So remember, the bond does have interest, and it does have an amenity fee, and we're going to go to districtgov.org right now, and we're going to look up a bond so you can see that information for yourself. All right, here we are at your new BFF, districtgov.org. I cannot stress this enough. This site is a wealth of information if you're looking to buy here or you are already a resident here. If you have a question, the answer is probably on this website, believe it or not. All right, so first thing is first, let's say you're searching for a home and you're not sure what district it is. So it'll say It'll say find my district, and you want to click residential district. And these are all the districts with the villages in it. I also have this in my book. So all you have to do is put the address in. Make sure you spell it right, because I spelled it, I put a V instead of a W, and that came up. So there we go. So Van Winkle Terrace is in the village of McClure, which I already know. It's in Sumter County, and it is in District 12. So we're gonna go up to District 12. And everything you need to know about this district is right here. How many home sites are here? Who's on the board? And you're going to learn more about that in the CDD video. So here under finance, this is the bond assessment. So you're going to want to click that. Now, unfortunately, you got to go back to, now you know it's District 12. So if you click down on District 12, here are all of the units. Now, the residential units at the top are all designer homes. The villas are verandas, courtyards, patio villas. So we know that mine was unit 720, and my bill says that. It says unit 720, Haven, and it's in Haven Villas. So you click on that now. Because they're patio villas, they're all the same. And you can see here this interest rate, I'm going to highlight there, is 4.33%. And in 2026, my bond payoff, my bond balance is $14,000 on this home. I'm just going to use Sumter County as an example here. We don't need to go through all 3 counties because it is all of the same process. You get the lot and unit number, and then you come back to district.gov.org, find the district, and then search the home. So let's just say, I don't know what this is, unit 30. I don't know what that is. It's a designer home, but in 2026, the bond balance is $25,000. Again, this whole plot you'll see is 4.33% interest. So I want to go down to, okay, so I live in Magnolia Villas, and you can see down here, this is less than a year old build, but this interest rate is 3.90. So it's lower than the last one by pennies, but my bond balance in 26 is now $11,000, which I'm not paying off. But it's very simple to find. There it is. All right, let's get back to the rest of the video. All right, so we're back. And what you have to remember is the older the bond, the interest rates were lower. If you're thinking about paying it off, talk to your financial advisor, because it doesn't always make financial sense to pay it off, whether you're going to stay in that home for 10 years or 20 years. But famous last words, this is my forever home. I've had 4 or 5 buyers tell me that, and I found them another home that they move into. And I know I wanted to keep this to 15 minutes, but obviously it's not. So now we're back on my website to search, and I want to show you on the map where you can find low bond, medium bond, a little bit bigger, and then real big bond. And we're going to look on the map here. And again, on my website, you can search by area. And let's get to, I want to search the entire community. Don't be distracted by these homes over here. Those are my listings, and they are available for sale. But just to give you an idea, so this is 42, and this is 466. I'll highlight this area. This is where you're going to find low to no bond homes. These were built anytime from the late 80s in the historic side to around Sumter Landing about 2010. Once you cross over 466 and you get down here to 466A, it's middle of the sixes, between the sixes. If you go to the middle of the sixes and north, you're gonna find bonds, depending on the size of the home, paid off to maybe 7,000-8,000, could be a little bit more depending on the size of the home, because there are some really large homes there. And then as you get further down, you're gonna find some bonds paid in Brownwood, but not a lot, because once they built from about 2006 to 2010 down to 466A. Once they crossed over 466A, those builds were 2012 to 2015. I think the Pine Ridge area, which is a Fruitland Park tax code, was about 2017. These bonds are primarily not paid off. You may find some that are. But then as you get lower, cross over 44, and now here we are, Richmond, down to 468, that's Warm Springs Trail. Cherry picking, if you find one that's paid off, you're not gonna find too many. This is the Fenny area. Here, you find some, but again, mine is in the Fenny area. I have one that's 11,700, and then one has $14,000 balance. There was a beautiful pool home here sold for $920,000. That bond was $28,000. Conversely speaking, my customer was looking then at buying a new home build with, this one was on the course, the other one was on the water with the pool. That lot, the bond was double. And then as you get down into here, into Moultrie Creek, Lake County, this is over here, Newell, Dabney, Lake Denham, Moultrie Creek, Shady Brook, you're really not gonna find too many with the bond paid off, especially at that 5% interest rate. So if you're looking for low to no bond, where are you gonna go? North of 466. If you're okay with a bond, but you don't want it to be too high, between the sixes. If you're willing to spend a little bit more on a bond, then you're gonna go to Brownwood area, and then the higher bonds are gonna be the newer homes. All right, we're almost finished. The bond, I hope you found this informative. Next video coming up, probably in another week, will be the CDD and so on and so on. Make sure you like and subscribe. Get my book. Has all the information you need in it. And also make sure you start searching on my website. Let me know in the comments below if you've paid your bond off and why. I'm curious to know. And I think other people would like to start up that conversation. All right, so again, next coming up, we have who's gonna pay for the grass to mow it? That's in the common areas. And who's gonna pay to take care of that pool? Who's gonna pay to take care of the golf course? That is all coming up in future episodes. I'm Robyn Cavallaro. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you found this informative, and check out this next episode. I think you're gonna like it. Until next time, I'll see ya.